don't really like my body.
Has anyone ever called you certain things, and if so, what were they?
Yes. Ugly, freak. Lots of things like that. Weirdo. I seem to want to be thinner or more pretty or when I'm alone. It gives too much time to think about things. But
If your body could talk right now, what would it say?
don't be so hard on yourself for the way you look. Try and love yourself. I know it's hard, but
There's one comment that sticks in my head from when I was 16, and it's almost like psychological reinforcement for my own views on things. Weight is a big thing to me. I have a figure in my head which is my ideal weight. I have a figure in my head that is I consider to be too fat, which a lot of people, if they heard it, would think it sounded crazy. But I remember when I was 16, I got a bit of a stomach bug and I lost a lot of weight quite quickly. I lost about 1.5 stone in about 3 weeks. And I remember I was talking to a guy at the time who I had a bit of a crush on, and he said something to me that ever since is really stuck in my head. He said to me, he's like, oh, since you lost that weight, you got really hot. And it made me think, I know for a fact that I wasn't overweight. I've never been overweight in my life. But it made me think, like, was I fat? Is that the weight that I was at that point? Is that fat? And I wasn't at all. And looking back on it, I know that I wasn't chubby. But hearing someone else say that, it kind of reinforces these ideals in your head that you have to look a certain way to be accepted by other people. I remember when I was 12 years old and I started reading teen magazines like Sugar and Bliss and things like that. And I remember there was this one article, and I remember it so clearly in my head. It was talking about body shapes. And it was the back of this ideal when they were comparing body shapes to different objects. And there were 4 in this particular article. You had the ruler, and the example was Gwyneth Paltrow. And then you had a triangle, which was Sarah Michelle Gellar, because she apparently had broad shoulders, despite the fact that she's really petite. And then you had Reese Witherspoon, who was a pear, because apparently she had a butt. And then you had Salma Hayek was an hourglass. And I remember looking at all these shapes thinking, I want to look like that one. I wanted to look like the hourglass because that seemed to be the most attractive and the most perceived to be attractive. And luckily, that's the way I've panned out anyway, just luck was on my side. But I feel like classifying people into these body shapes, I know even now people like Gok Wan use it. And it's things of how to dress for your shape. And people should be able to wear whatever the hell they want without feeling like they're being judged. So that's one thing that really annoys me about the media. I think that everyone should be comfortable in themselves and just be more accepting of who they are. People come in all shapes and sizes, and all those shapes and sizes are beautiful, equally beautiful. People seem to think that you have to look a certain way and you're going to be automatically better than other people. But I think it's just a case of accepting who you are, being comfortable with who you are, and just loving yourself.
No, I do not like my body.
Why?
Because it ain't right. My body just ain't right. One thing to change would be... Right now I want to change my stomach, but I think in general, genitalia. Expectations from the media kind of make you feel like you've got to look a certain way to be perceived the way you want to be perceived.
And what's the way you want to be perceived?
As a guy. I want to be perceived as a guy, and there's so many stereotypes for that. Mostly they've affected me by making me jealous of these guys having the bodies, and they were born and built to have those bodies, and I wasn't. People that are going through the same thing as me, I would have to say, just to go forward with everything that you can, to go seek help as soon as, because waiting lists for things are really long, but they can also talk you through everything. There's people that can help with everything.
It's something that they need to realise, like, everyone develops at different rates, everyone's going to look different. People aren't always going to look the same stick-thin way they think they will when they're growing up as a child. People, the different genetics and things like that. People need to be more accepting of different shapes and sizes. There's not this one ideal. Remember that everyone goes through things like this and it doesn't last forever. There is light at the end of the tunnel.